Hey everybody, I'm Kevin and I'm not childish. And to prove it, I just took a shower without anybody telling me to do it. Now isn't that growing up? Well, you saw the title, What Not to Say. Have you ever had a friend, or maybe just someone in some kind of a group setting that has something heavy on their mind and you feel the desire to help them? Well, believe it or not, most of what people say is actually garbage. It really doesn't help at all. The only thing I will say is you do need to show that you care about them. And so if saying that makes them feel like you care, well then that's the only benefit from it. But let's take a look at some of these and discuss them with you. I got them written down because I'd never remember. It could be worse. Yeah, it could. But that's not what I'm dealing with right now. Time heals all wounds. Well, that's great. What do I do till then? I'm just supposed to pace the floor, not sleep at nights, eat more chocolate than I can stand. There, it'll be all right. The one good part about this is I'm hoping that if you're saying that, you're also giving them a hug at the same time. The hug means something. The words don't mean shit. There is always somebody that has it worse. Well, that's kind of like the other one. It could be worse. But who wants to say, well, I don't feel bad because, so-and-so down the street's got it even worse. Well, that's a hell of a way to make yourself feel better, isn't it? Let's see. I know just how you feel. There is no way you know how they feel. None. And you can sit there and say, yes, I do. I just experienced the exact same thing. So what? You're not the exact same person. Do you understand? Their mind doesn't work like yours, and you definitely haven't been inside their head to see how they process things. If you think that's bad, let me tell you about this. One, upmanship on someone that is feeling bad, because that's what you're doing. And especially if you're talking about yourself personally, saying, well, I had this happen, I had that happen. Big effing deal. Sorry, I'm trying not to say too many cuss words. I don't think it really does that much good. So, now this one is if you're dealing with a funeral and someone that passed away. They're in a better place. They're not the one we're worried about. The person that's standing in front of you that does not know how to deal with this situation is the one that needs the help. You may be right. You probably are. Hopefully you are. The first thing I'm going to say specifically is logic helps very little in these kind of situations. Your mind isn't affected by logic when something goes wrong and you feel down in the dumps, depressed, missing a person, missing your pet. It's not logic that is, making you feel bad. And logic will not fix it. This is a mental issue. It's spurred from things that I can't explain. I only know how it works with me. Would you believe that for me, death is no big deal? I've never cried for anybody that's passed away. I've had friends of mine, my best friend, my mother, both my grandmothers, my grandfather. It hasn't bothered me. My children get in trouble. It doesn't bother me. I want to help them. I want them not to be suffering, but I don't lose sleep over it. So I'm not anywhere like a lot of people are. So far, I can't say that I've ever gone through the grieving process, and yet other people have gone through it and had to take years to get past it, and some of them will say they really never have gotten through it. So, you got to think about these things when you're talking to them. Let me give you an example of a lady that came to a self-help group at the church I was going to at the time. And I watched everybody trying to help her. And it was about her 16-year-old daughter and how she lost control of her. Well, when you really got down to it, she never did really have good control over her. But what were the circumstances? Everybody said, well, you gotta, tough love her and all this stuff. Well, clearly this lady couldn't do that. It was not in her makeup. She couldn't throw her daughter out. I mean, and besides, she's only 16. This lady also knew that some of her past is part of the cause, and you can't go back and change that. So how do you help this lady? You help her to remember that she loves her child, which clearly she did. And you try to let her realize that none of the ones that were in the group were going to criticize her or to say that she was a bad mother because of the issues she's dealing with. Because we've all had our own issues, and we know we didn't handle them that well either. And then you let her know that if she needs someone to talk to, that you're available and that you care enough to give her your phone number. In this case, of course, I wouldn't have because I'm a male, and that's just not quite appropriate. But the women there, offered her phone numbers and asked her to come back next week, and told her she was more than welcome, and maybe we could, give her something to read, or we could discuss it more. Or I know myself, just having someone say they care about me makes me feel a lot better. And even if I don't call the person, I know that I can. So those are the kind of things that is really what you should be telling them. And yeah, a lot of people do need a hug. I wish I got more hugs, but I'm not, I don't, people don't feel comfortable trying to hug me because I'm somewhat standoffish, and I'm kind of nervous about something like that anyway, not knowing how to handle it because I never had a real hug as far as in, as I was growing up, as I've said before. So I hope that gives you something to think about. We all need help at some point. Somebody needs to be there for us. But some of the stuff we say is just ridiculous. They just want somebody to hear their story in a lot of cases. They don't necessarily need us to solve their problem. And in most cases, we can't anyway. So, thanks for letting me share. See you next time.